Praise be Jesus Christ. One of the fun facts I learned this past weekend is that word quarantine, which has become so popular in the past few weeks, comes from an Italian word, quarantina, which refers to the 40 days that Jesus spent self-isolated, alone, in prayer and in fasting. And in these 40 days of Lent, preparing ourselves for Jesus' Paschal mystery, his dying and rising, which we commemorated Holy Week, we can kind of feel, I think, a little bit useless maybe this Lent. There's not really a whole lot we can do if we're not a healthcare worker, if we're not some other essential government employee. And, so many of these folks who are doing heroic things and are doing amazing things, serving their brothers and sisters, serving the common good. But for the rest of us, we can kind of feel useless or tempted to feel useless. We know, though, that the most useful thing we can ever do is through our prayer, because the Holy Spirit goes where we cannot physically go. And through the Holy Spirit, we're most connected. We belong most deeply to one another. So I would encourage you to be useful this Lent. I encourage you and challenge you to pray for the dying, to spiritually adopt the dying, because it's a really heartbreaking thing how so many dying people are without the presence of their loved ones, who have to journey from this side of eternity alone, in isolation. And I'd encourage you to pray in a particular way the Chaplet of Divine Mercy for the dying. The Vatican's come out with allowed for some special indulgences in this particularly challenging time. And one of the great ways we could obtain one of those indulgences is by praying the Chaplet of Divine Mercy. So if you never prayed it before, you just pray them on your ordinary rosary beads, okay? So blow the dust off your rosary beads, get them out, and I'm going to include a video with this video so you could pray along. You don't even have to look it up. And you can pray the Chaplet of Divine Mercy right along there with that video if you don't know it. And it's so important. Jesus told St. Faustina about the importance of the Chaplet of Divine Mercy in her diary. This is what Jesus told St. Faustina, and through her, all of us. Pray as much as you can for the dying. By your entreaties, that is, your insistent prayers, obtain for them trust in my mercy, because they have most need of trust, and have it the least. Be assured that the grace of eternal salvation for certain souls in their final moment depends on your prayer. And that's from number 1777 in St. Faustina's diary. And Jesus says elsewhere in number 811 in the diary this: at the hour of their death, that is dying persons, I defend as my own glory every soul that will say this chaplet, or when others say it for a dying person. So pray the Chaplet of Divine Mercy. Pray for God's mercy. Mercy, God's divine mercy is where God's love goes to our human misery. And nothing can feel probably more miserable than being alone without your loved ones in the most challenging, difficult moment of our earthly lives. So pray for the dying, spiritually adopt the dying, be useful, and God bless you.